What's up? Jake Reed here. Andrew Masters. Welcome back.
Welcome back to another epic studio tour with today's guest, Jake Reed.
What's up?
He's a tremendously successful session drummer based in LA. He has actually written a book on drumming. He's made an insanely successful series of drum sample packs, which I'm guaranteed you've seen the ads for. But he's also got a super fun YouTube channel that whenever he blesses us with a new upload, they're always my favorite to watch. And since the first time we did a studio tour, he has actually rebuilt his entire home studio from the ground up. Totally different. New room, new stuff. It's awesome. So this time when we were hanging out, I said, let's do a 2.0. If you have missed the fresh new episodes of the Epic Studio Tours on this channel, we're bringing the new episodes back. So do me a favor, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so you see the new episodes pop up on your home screen. And I gotta tell you, I would not be able to do this, sincerely, and have not, without our friends at Sweetwater's help. So as you're watching Jake's studio and all of his cool stuff, the dude's got a lot of really awesome stuff. Click one of those links down in the description. That'll take you to Sweetwater. It's an affiliate link. They're sponsoring the video. And look through some of the stuff. And as a thank you, we're gonna provide you with some fresh new episodes with some fun new guests. Let's go.
I like to call this my dead room. Because if I just close all the doors in here, this is like my drum booth, which is nice. It's nice to have it like just super dead. Like there's not a lot of extra reflections in here. And it's also my control room because that's all the space I got. But being that this is California and this is a basement and all the rain we had a lot of rain. Anyway, it got wet down here. And so we had to redo some stuff.
Is it because you left the door open?
No, it's because behind that wall is the earth.
Oh.
And there was so much rain that came down in like a 24-hour period. Actually, this room didn't get that wet, but this room over here, the new room, got very wet. We made some improvements in here.
What's in this room?
Let me show you.
You had a piano in there before.
Come on. Yeah, this used to be my wife's studio, Kate Dunton, if you follow her on the
This
interwebs.
room we're going into.
We used to have, it was like fake wood floors. The guy who redid the studio, who's the same guy that built that studio, Dave Pepin, they got a company called Omni Studio Builders.
Shout out.
Over in Burbank. He was like, why don't we just make it, because the whole thing with this room is I'm trying to do like the opposite. I'm trying to make it as live as possible. And if you open the bathroom door, you get that natural, you get that natural reverb. So yeah, he was like, why don't we just do a concrete floor? That'll make it more liver sounding.
Yeah, it looks great.
And yeah, so it's polished concrete. It's awesome. Since we live in California and it gets wet when we get tons of rain, which we're coming up on the rainy season, it's easy to clean up.
So now, instead of this being Kate's studio,
Well, Kate
Dunton.
Yeah, she has her own studio. We built
Trio Kate.
We built a shed in the backyard, and that's where her piano and all her synthesizers and everything are. And so down here, this is now my, I don't know if I should call it my A room or my B room.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted it to be like as old school feeling as possible with the wood paneling, like not full on like plywood wood paneling or whatever. But but yeah, they came over. I think this is all walnut, and they came over and basically just took some measurements and then went back to their workshop. I should say they cut all of these individually and then brought it back and installed it like perfectly. I was like, wow, how did you guys? Well, they're good at math.
Looks amazing, sounds amazing.
It feels great in here, yeah. And then
It's comfortable.
And then they were, this is like probably the coolest part. They were like, hey, why don't we put some pipes up here and then you can mount your overheads from the ceiling. So like I used to have, well, there's still some in here because I roll them around from time to time for fun. I used to have all of these stands all over the place in this room for like room mics and my overhead mics.
Look at all that space it takes up.
So, but the thing is, it makes it way easier just getting in and out of the drums. Because this room also is not, this room's not that tall, you know?
Yeah. But the overhead pipe thing is game changer.
Oh man, so awesome. And then they also did fabric on the ceiling. So that again cuts down on some of the,
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, man, they know what they're doing.
All right, so drums, More drums.
More drums. This is my 80s Gretsch kit. I kind of keep it set up all the time like this. Just the big drum set. You get the mic sound in there, right?
Yeah.
That sucks.
We'll dub in a recording.
That's messed up. I gotta tune this.
So we got the 2 kits, the 2 rooms, two different sounds.
2 rooms, 2 kits. I basically keep this set up my whole idea was, I can have like one kit in there set up, and then I can go in here and work on something else and still have the other kit set up. And that was the original idea, but it's kind of, after you like get into a room and you live in it and you work in it for a long period of time, you sort of figure out your workflow, right? And so like this room is more like, I just keep this set up all the time because it's a big setup and it sounds good in here. So I don't really like mess with it. I just keep it there. And then that's the room that I still end up moving drums around a lot and mics and different setups.
It looks amazing. How do you like the sound?
It sounds awesome in here. I love it.
And then drum storage. Why do you have extra drums? Don't you just use one drum?
One thing about which I love getting to do is I get to do lots of different styles and lots of different types of sounds. The way I think about it is like once I get a drum dialed into a thing that I really like, I just kind of leave it that way because the whole thing is I don't want to be like retuning drums and like remuffling stuff.
What's the downside of doing that?
It's time.
Yeah.
It's like if you're in a session, I just saw this Tim Pierce video. He was saying like, you have to just be able to like, this guitar pedals, you have to be able just to reach down and like get the sound that the client wants like right away.
Yep.
And I was like,
yeah,
it's kind of the same thing with drums. Like if someone says, hey, that snare sounds too dark, instead of like, I can just tune this up a little bit and take some of the tape off and get some ring and then make it sound brighter, even though it's the same drum. I just go, yeah, give me like 10 seconds here. I'll just whoop.
Yeah.
And then just put up the other drum and yeah, it's just I don't want the session to get bogged down. I mean, obviously, like the drum is kind of dialed to do a thing.
Yeah.
But I can still quickly, like if it's a little too low or a little too high, like you can quickly, or if it's like a little too dead sounding and you just want it to ring a little more.
You want to meet the client's needs before the needs are needed.
It's basically like getting into character, as my friend Sean Hurley would say, like just picking up the right bass to begin with. Like just get into character, get in the right ballpark first, and then tweak it from there. And then that gets me 98% of the way there on choosing the right drum.
You got a great, very broad selection here. Here's my question: the shelf for the drums, because I also am collecting some drums and am like snares and then toms. I like that you put the toms up top.
Let me tell you a little story. My friend Adam Kriskow, who's awesome, he's an awesome drummer, lives in town. He built this shelf. He built my desk. He's an amazing woodworker. But he built this shelf for me before this room got redone. And so this shelf is actually designed to stand up vertically.
Oh, it used to be that way.
Yeah,
right?
It used to be that way. And when they put the fabric in and did the whole soundproofing thing,
I remember,
and got it sounding really nice in here, all of a sudden I tried to stand it up vertically and it got to about like right there and it just like would not go all the rest of the way. So I was like,
real life problems.
Yeah, so I was like, we'll just do it sideways.
I love it, actually.
And then there's still room to put drums on top.
Yeah.
So it works.
You got an extra shelf.
So it works.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, well, the thing to do is to get these Orbit
clamps.
These
are called grip clamps, I remember, because the naming is a little esoteric with all the triad stuff.
Yeah.
But the big heavy duty ones are called grip clamps.
And they hold, like, I remember reading on the box, it says it holds up to like a 67-pound mic, or not mic, but like all this stuff combined.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we got...
I mean, I've put these up, I don't know how long ago.
Yeah.
And they have not slipped, like at all.
Yeah, it's great.
Over however many months of them being up there. So.
And these are the real heavy ones. The Cole's a heavy mic.
Coles are heavy, yeah.
And the bomblets are they're not too bad. But I mean, at that axis, at the
could you imagine holding your arm out like this?
No,
forever?
no, dude. Yeah, so we got the grip clamps, you got a boom arm, and then you got the ball head. The ball head is clutch
Yeah.
because you can get any angle.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, if you've been in a like real studio, like a classic studio, that's like a big room.
Yeah.
It's just like cavernous. You're like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get your home studio, and it feels like you're on a boat all the time, like just like walking.
Stick this
just
in
like,
here.
Yeah. So you just find ways to keep things tidy and organized. You know, like I got these, like all the cables go in this little guy here.
Oh yeah, those that's a whole world too on Amazon.
And then like just I got snakes going, so I just don't have like a million mic cables going everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they put in this mic panel here.
Yep.
So then there's nothing, unless sometimes I'll take a mic and put it through here and through the door or whatever. But same thing with like the headphone boxes. Like I had them build like this
Ethernet port.
Yeah. And then that way it also hooks up to my screen in here.
Yeah.
All via that one, what is this box called?
Yeah, it's an IP extender box.
Yeah. So just like having one of those instead of having like literally every cable you need
Yeah.
for your computer. Like it's just one cable and it's my keyboard, mouse, and screen. So I can run Pro Tools from the other room in here when I'm tracking. I don't do a ton of full sessions. We did a couple for Kate's Christmas album.
Yep.
And she played this Rhodes while she sang some scratch vocals. And then Sean and I were in the other room with bass and drums. And so that's like, yeah, just having the keyboard down here it's awesome. We'll have rehearsals in here for gigs and stuff with the 2 amps down there.
I love all this. This is really, outside of it functionally being perfect, sonically being great, it's visually exciting too. This room has some riz.
That's so 6 months ago. I got like all my medals just like in here.
Whoa.
And then
That's a sound on its own.
Yep.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
tambos. Just keep it as, again, it's like just keeping things as streamlined as possible.
Cool, man. Let's do the other room.
So this is the other room.
So, tell me about the changes here.
I'm trying to think of when you were here last time.
Cork wasn't there.
The
or at
cork,
least-
that's actually pretty new. I just put that up recently.
It's cool.
I used to have like 4 pieces of cork back here so I could still like hang stuff, but then I thought, oh, I'm just gonna do the whole wall and kind of, there is like a parallel thing going on here. I was just trying to knock it down a little bit. I don't know if it actually did anything, but it looks cool.
Contrast, dude. I like the dark back wall.
Yeah,
Track.
I like it. And then, you know, bass trap down here, which was here before, and then so was this cloud.
Same vibe over here. Remote.
Well, I just have over here a trackpad, and then this just all is like, you know,
HDMI.
yeah. And then that way I can sit here and, you know, do Pro Tools stuff. But yeah, you can hear like this room is like, it's very,
That kit sounds amazing as well.
I love these drums. I had this kind of ringy for a session the other day, which is fun.
Got the 1000s.
These are the MA 1000s, which
Those
I
are,
love. Another Coles mono. This was like when they first came out. One of my buddies was like, you should get one. And then I got one and I was like, I want another one. When I did my solo album here, I did a jazz trio side upstairs in my living room, just like live in the room. And my buddy Ben Tolliday, who's a great engineer in town, he used one of these on snare.
Oh, sick.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, I can't buy all of these.
No, you just gotta get a third one, dude. It's super easy. Just 3. If you don't have 3, well, then you need a 4th for a backup.
Yeah, these a lot of people are like, hey, you use 414s and Loudons, right? And I'm like, yeah, like, cause you know, and there on that kit, I got all the 414s on the toms. These are awesome though. So many people have asked like, what's the difference? Or like, what should I get? And I'm always like, these are sick for toms.
A lot cheaper than 414s.
They're a lot cheaper than 414s, and they sound awesome automatically on toms. And like, you see this here?
Yeah.
These things have such great rejection of off-axis stuff like cymbals, which is always an issue. I love it. They sound great. And I like the clamps too. I'm usually like a hater on these,
Yeah.
on any kind of clamp that goes on a drum, but this is pretty awesome. And again, I don't have a lot of floor space, so it saves room. But yeah, the Loughton, you have some of these.
I do. I love all of them. I got the snare mic and the toms, they're all up. I think I even have the LA 320s on overheads right now because I got them a long time ago and I never tried them. And I threw them up and I was like, I love it.
They sound awesome. Yeah, they're great mics. So you know how I was talking about like, oh, we just need a different snare drum. I used this the other day on something and it sounds awesome for that thing.
But if we're just doing solo drums.
It's like, why don't we just use this drum? It's kind of fun.
What is that drum?
This is a 60s Gretsch and it just kind of does this. And then I was like, oh, but then if we do switch the snare, I don't want to use these hi-hats. These are old Ks, and they're cool. I like them. But I got these old As that are like, look at this.
Yeah.
You just...
Here's a question. When you're switching out cymbals and snares and or toms and kicks, the goal is to like make it right for the track, but there's also some element of getting things to work well with each other, right?
Right. That's why I switched, because I put up this new snare. I was like, oh, it'd be fun to use this snare. But then I was like, I don't know, it might be more fun to put up these other hats that kind of marry well with the snare instead of what I had up. I like to just play soft and turn up the pre's. It sounds good that way. So that's this room. Okay, the short answer is most studios in LA, all the ones that I love the most, have Neves similar to this. And I was like, they've been doing this since like the 70s with these things, making all the records with these things. I was like, I should just get these things.
Simple math.
I mean, obviously there's tons of options, but
You like these?
I just like them. They sound good. They do the things I want them to do.
Yeah. What do you got, 16?
I got 16 of them.
And you got it split between both kids?
Well, what I do, sort of, I haven't split between both kids, but I basically have these two snakes right here. Mm-hmm. And whenever I want to patch into the other room, it's not quite like the world's most efficient setup.
Got it. So you just switch over the patch.
But I just go, I just switch them all out. But the things that kind of stay, why I said sort of, is because I keep this room mic set up all the time, and then the stereo room mics in there, I keep patched in all the time. Because sometimes I'll like record, like if I want some more ambience when I'm recording in this room, I'll just record those two mics in there, and just.
That's great.
Yeah. So then it's just always going. Yeah, so I have 16. These are 1028s, so there's just like an expanded mid-range EQ option. I also have this Manly preamp here that's like 2 more channels, so sometimes these are tube pre's. So like I'll run it through pedals or, just like effects mic for fun.
Yeah, because you had a lot of 500 stuff going on before.
Right, that's exactly, yeah. Man, good memory.
you moved over to these, and then you moved some of the outboard processing that was in these racks down...
Yep, down here.
Down there.
Yeah, and you know who helped me set all this up was Greasy.
The Greasy Man.
The Greasy Man. Because...
Greasy Will.
He's good at, You engineers, guys that have worked in real studios, like every day of their life for an extended period of time, you guys are just really good with workflow and like how things should be set up. Yeah. And how to do it fast. And so that was my whole thing is I just need to, like I have my patch bay here. When I do want to patch into stuff, as you can see, I am for whatever I was doing the other day. But yeah, sometimes I'll use this 1178 on rooms, just getting a little more action out of them. This Phoenix, I got this from one of my buddies. It's really awesome on, it's fun to do like parallel with overheads. Distressor, Transient Designer, Fatso. DBX is up there. I mostly am just in here tracking drums, right? So I don't need like an actual studio where it's like a board and faders and these I really like these in my room. I know some guys that have like the double wide ones. I don't know what they're called. Like the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I think they would just be way too big in here. But these sound really clear, and there's not too much bass like the bigger ones would have. I don't have a sub in here or anything. This is where I keep all my, here's my computer, my hard drives, power. And my friend Adam Kriskow also built this because just sometimes these things can start going like, which can be annoying. Or like if the computer's like fan is going crazy, which is like usually why you want to keep it open. But if I'm trying to record something and need it to be quieter, I can close that and that helps a little bit.
Nice. Now you've been collecting drums for like a year, right? So you just,
pretty much, yeah.
You just bought all this at once. This is a misconception of people who see these videos. They go, "How did he buy all this today?"
Yeah.
It's like
the misconception is I'm older than you think I am, and
one thing at a time, baby.
I've been buying drums since I was very young. Taos drum. This thing's cool. This is like when composers call you and they're like, "Hey, do you have something that
like a taiko?
It sounds kind of like you can't really tell. It's not like an African drum, and it's not like Afro-Cuban. It's not Brazilian. Just like it needs to sound like
It's like Spartacus
for like film stuff where they're like they just need it to sound like big epic drums. So that's a good option because it doesn't really sound like a bass drum. Like a full-on concert bass drum. Yeah, these are all just, again, it's kind of like the snare shelf in there where it's like for instance, this, it's gone up because it's so dry here right now in LA, but like I just kind of keep this kit set up. This is the dead kit that I did the sample packs with, and this sound gets requested a lot, so it's like basically just ready to go. I just keep it on the ready. This kit I got from my teacher Peter Erskine many years ago. This was his drum set in if you've ever seen the Everything is Timekeeping instructional video he did, that's this drum set. And it's just an 80s Yamaha recording custom. They sound awesome. This is a kit I got from Jay Bellerose. It's a 60s Trixon, and it's got the conical. Your eyes are not fooling you, it really is
warped.
No, really,
Different,
they're conical, conical shells. I feel like I have everyone's hand-me-downs from in town. I got this drum set, real skin, goes up and down with the weather. There we go. Oh yeah.
Whoa.
I love this drum. I got this drum set from Aaron Sterling.
Shout out
before
Aaron.
Before he moved to Nashville.
Yep.
So that's another Trixon, but it's got calf on it. I love this drum set. I use this a lot for different things, but yeah, that's a fun. Like I said, I feel like I got everyone's old drums, but I love them, and I love having all the sound options available. My idea was eventually to get like doubles of everything, so like I have something that can kind of do like a more wide open, like Bonham-esque thing here, but also have one that lives in cartage, so that they're not always like swapping stuff out all the time when I got to do sessions at studios. But yeah, all my cymbals. I still have to figure out a way to use that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about having drums is that drums take up space. I think having a space like this, and for drums, it's all about the room.
Yeah.
You know, so like I know what this room sounds like. I've been in here for a long time now, like almost 10 years in this room. So I think having the new room is probably the most fun part, but also just the like not getting bogged down in the workflow of always. It used to be like everything I had was right here, so I had to, everything was getting swapped out all the time. Whereas now that I have both rooms kind of up and running, I feel like I don't spend as much of my life swapping drums in and out and like futzing around with getting the right sounds. It's just, I feel like I'm just getting more efficient. I'm just getting faster.
Yeah. Name of the game.
Yeah, which like literally the other day, this film composer calls and is like, hey, this is the classic thing. Hey, what are you doing right now? Like, can you, like, we got to finish this show. There's a deadline. Can you just like record these drums real fast?
Yeah.
And it was like, if I had only had that drum set up right there, it would have been like totally the wrong thing for the track.
Yep.
But because I had this one already set up, It was as easy as like, okay, I already have like the tight room, the dead kit set up, and it was sort of like a Beatlesy sounding. It was like, this thing's, it's already ready to go. Like maybe just put up a different snare.
Now, what's the tempo?
Exactly. And so that's, I think that for me, that excites me to know that like just efficiency is
Grab and go.
the name of the game, and I'm getting better. I'm getting faster.
And the faster you can get stuff done, the more sessions you can do.
Yeah, it's simple math. The home studio thing, like having this available and ready to go, it's just it's a different world now.
Well, I can tell you we've all been watching you over the years, and we're very proud of you.
Oh.
And I, you know, from the studio perspective, because I'm obsessed with that stuff, looks like a joy.
And again, a lot of times the way that sessions go now is the client is not even coming over here.
Yeah.
They're on a call.
Yeah.
So
Audio movers.
you kind of have to be even faster at, because it's not like they're just in the room like seeing the whole thing happen. They're just sitting there at their computer waiting.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta be quick. It's like, I just go grab the right snare drum, and that's what it's all about. Yeah.
And then you got a bunch of sample packs, so people go get your sample packs. Super live drums.
Yep.
Super dead drums.
Greasy and I did super live drums at East West.
Super spooky drums.
Supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah.
That was my play on words, because they were like kind of natural, big sounding drums, like, you know, like folksy, like, but then it was supernatural, like spooky, because I did it for Halloween, where it's like cymbal scrapes and.
Yeah. jcreedmusic.com, right?
Yep.
Drums, samples, sessions, YouTube videos, YouTube channel. You got any sneakers or anything?
No, but I do have to give a shout out to you, because you're the one.
viewer.
Well, you guys too, but I'm talking to you, Andrew.
Oh, hey.
Because you're the guy who was like, hey, why don't you should do a YouTube channel.
You were posting TikToks before TikTok existed. You were just doing vertical shorts. I was like, you should talk in your videos. You're like, really?
And I remember that.
It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're fun. So I'm glad you did.
It all worked out.
Well, this is fun, man. All right, let's geek out and hang out for a little bit.
Okay.
Everyone, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Go subscribe to Jake. Subscribe to this channel.
Bye.